Okay, this is Unit 3B. Okay, and this is Section 2. Section 1 was all about metric conversions. Now we're going to be learning about the imperial ones. So the imperial ones are feet, meters, the feet, yards, kilometers, and inches. So some of the conversions that we usually know, for example, these are some approximations. Approximate means it's close but not exact. So, for example, an inch is about 3 centimeters. We could use what's called a personal referent. Okay, write this down. Personal referent. And what that means is something on your body that you could think of that might be that size. So 1 inch, if you put 2 fingers together, the width of them side by side, that's about 1 inch. Okay? So 1 inch is the width of 2 fingers. Okay, that's what we're thinking about. A yard, how big is a yard? Well, that's about the length of your leg. Okay, so the yard is the length of your leg. Okay, leg. Length of your leg. Now, if you're quite a short person, it might be a little bit longer than that. So it'd be a little bit longer than my leg. I'm a bit short, but that's okay. Okay, so it says a foot is approximately 0.3 of a meter. A foot is also from your wrist to your elbow. So if you look at your arm from your wrist to your elbow, that's about a foot, like a foot-long subway. So if you put a foot-long subway, that should fit on your arm there. And a mile, well, that's too long. We don't have, our bodies aren't tall enough to reach a mile. The other ones are small enough for us. The miles are too big. All right. Calculating the metric conversions. Turn it over, please. So this is converting between the units. Okay. So these are basic conversions. And these are the ones we use the most. And this is the chart you're going to be given on all your tests and all your quizzes. Now, there are a couple that are missing in there. So you want to say, where is it? Inch, foot, 1 foot equals 0.305 meters. Okay, that one's not there. You might want to put that one in there. Okay, so that one you might want to put in there. Please add that one in there. Okay, that one has to be added. Okay, any other questions so far? Okay, so that's a chart we're going to be using. All right, so we want feet to meters. We're just going to do a quick practice, and this is using that chart. So if we use the charts, all right, using the chart, if you take a look, I want feet to meters. So feet to meters is going to be times 0.305, and that's going to give me meters. Okay, so everybody grab your calculators. And we're going to multiply 7 times 0.305, 2.135. So 2.135. We're doing these together. Everybody write it down, please. Okay, now I want inches to centimeters. So where am I getting all these numbers? I'm getting them from this chart, okay? And we are multiplying. If we move to the right, we are timesing. If we move to the left, we are dividing. Okay, so if I move to the right, I'm timesing. If I move to the left, I'm dividing. This is what you start with. So if you start with inch and go to centimeter, then you're timesing. If you start over here and move to the left, you're dividing. Okay, that's how you know. And we'll do a few examples. So if we take a look, the next one, inch to centimeter. So if I look inch to centimeter, that means timesing by 2.54. And that's going to give me 106.68. Okay, so make sure you write all the decimals. Write this down. Don't be lazy, folks. 106.68, write it down. Now we want kilometers to miles. So I'm going the other way now. I'm going kilometer to mile. So if I look on my chart, I've got 1.6 between kilometers and miles. And this chart, it should actually, there's a number missing. It should be 1.61. Can everybody write the number 1 beside the 6 there? With the kilometers, that should be 1.61 there. I'm just going to erase that. That should be 1.61. Okay, that should be a 1 there. All right, so on this one, we have feet, inches. Now I want kilometers to miles. So I'm going to divide by 1.61. Okay, let's do our dividing. We're going to get 50 divided by 1.61. And we're going to get 31.06 miles. So 31.06 miles. Okay, meters to feet. So I look on my thing, I see meters to feet. Does anybody see meters to feet? Well, it's that 0.35. It's the one I asked you to add. We are dividing because we're going from the right to left. We're dividing 0.305. So 35 divide 0.305. And that's going to give us 114.75 feet. So meters to feet. Meters to feet. Okay, everybody's ready to go to the next one. We want miles to kilometers. Miles to kilometers. So if I'm going miles to kilometers, now I'm timesing by the 1.61. So timesing by 1.61. And we're going to get 515.2 kilometers. So 515.2 kilometers. Okay, kilometers per hour to miles per hour. Well, that's just kilometer to miles. So we are going to go dividing by 1.61.
Wait, I'll answer.
Okay, what do you got?
19.87.
Good, yeah. So 19.88. We're going to round it. So we want 2 decimals. Okay, so 2 decimal places. What would the first one there that's written in blue, what would that round to if I want 2 decimal places? What would the very first one in blue round to? Who knows? If I want
green,
what would it round to if I want 2 numbers showing after the decimal?
15.
Well, you're going to look at the 5 and see what does the 5 make the 3 do.
Multiply. Minus.
All right. So we want meters to yards. If I go meters to yards, I am going to go, let's see here, meter to yards. I am dividing by 0.915. So write that down. We are dividing 40 divide 0.915, which is going to give us 43.72. So we are rounding to 2 decimal points, please, okay? So round to 2 decimal points. Thank you. Kilometers to miles. Kilometers to miles, we are dividing by 1.61.
Say that one more.
270 divide 1.61. We're going to get 167.70. That's how many miles 270 kilometers are. Now we want feet to meters. Feet to meters. I am timesing by 0.305. And that's going to give me 3.05 meters. All right. That's the basic conversions. Now we're going to do a couple problem solving questions, and then we're going to get into just basic area and perimeter of objects. Okay, that's the next section. Okay, we're going to finish this lesson first. We have Christine, who drove 240 kilometers on one tank of gas. How many miles did she drive? So we want 240 kilometers is equal to how many miles is what we want. So going kilometers to miles, we're dividing because we're moving backwards on that chart. We're dividing by 1.61. That's going to give us 149.07. So 149.07. Okay, the next question. We got Marlo's prize calf measured 1.32 meters. How many feet and inches? So we got 1.32 meters equals how many feet? And then I want 1.32 meters and I want inches. So we're going to figure out how big that calf was in feet and in inches. Okay, we want meters to feet. If I'm going meters to feet, I am dividing by, on this one, I am dividing by 0.305. So 1.32 divided by 0.305. That's going to give me 4.33 feet. We want two decimal places. So 4.33 feet. Now I need to go meters to inches. Well, meters to inches, I can go meters to feet and then feet to inches. So I'm going to go 4.33 feet times 12 is going to give me inches. So we're going to go 4.33 times 12. And I'm going to get 51.96. Okay, that's going to give us meters to inches. All right, last question on this page. It says Kyle traveled a total of 762 miles during his vacation. How many kilometers is that? So we want 762 miles equals how many kilometers? So we want mile to kilometer. We are multiplying by 1.61. And that's going to give us a grand total of 1226.82 kilometers. So it says the speed limit on many American highways is 60 miles per hour. What is the speed limit? What is that speed limit in kilometers? So I want 60 miles is how many kilometers? That's what we're finding. So mile to kilometer, I am going to multiply by, let's see here, mile to kilometer, 1.61. I'm going to get 96.6. 96.6. So not quite 100. We approximated at almost 100, so that's called approximately almost. We get really close to 100. The next one's talking about Antoinette. his family is taking a summer vacation through the northern U.S. On one day of his trip, he traveled 85 miles. On day two, they traveled 125. And the third day, they traveled 176. How many kilometers did they travel each day? And then down here, it wants the total miles and total kilometers. So we're going to add them up. So we're going to get total miles, and then we want total kilometers down here. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is add them all up. So the total miles we get when we add them up is 386 miles. All right, miles to kilometers, we'd multiply by 1.61. Here we have to multiply each number by 1.61 times 1.61 times 1.61. We have to get each of their answers and add them up. So 85 times 1.61. That gives us 136.85. 125 times 1.61 gives us 201.25. And our last one, 176 times 1.61 is 283.36. So now we're going to add them all together. When we add those together, we should get 621.46 kilometers. Now let's see if we just do the kilometers. That would be our total down here when we add them up. So 621.46. Now let's see if that total is different from if we just take the grand total of miles. So if I have the grand total of miles and I went times 1.61, I should get that answer. Let's see. Times 1.61, I get exactly that answer. Okay, so we did do it right. Okay, I'll give you a minute to finish writing that down. This concludes part 1 of converting between metric and imperial units.